What's going on, pursuers? Welcome to The Pursuit of Calling, the podcast that provides you with the strategies and tools needed to successfully discover and pursue your calling. Whether it's through inspiring stories, thought-provoking interviews, or quick, insightful episodes on personal growth and development, we've got you covered. I'm your host, Thomas Carney. Enjoy the episode. All right, what's going on, pursuers? So when I was a kid, I would say a lot to my dad in multiple different areas of my life. You probably said it a lot too growing up. You would go, "Dad, I'm doing my best." You might even say it now. I don't know if your dad ever said this to you, but my dad would tell me, and a lot of times when I would say that, he'd come at me with the phrase, "Thomas, you gotta do better than your best." And in my little child brain, that made no sense. I didn't understand. How can you do better than your best? How can you do better than what you've already established to be your best? Like, it didn't make sense in my mind. And now being an adult, and I'm now an advocate for personal growth, I can now say I know what that means. I understand that now we're talking when we're talking about doing better than your best, we're talking about the pursuit of excellence. I believe my dad planted a seed within me, a seed of excellence within me, even if he didn't know it. And I'll be honest with you, at times I think he did know it at a lot of those times, but I don't think he knew whether it was taking root or not. And now, being an adult and being here, an advocate for growth, everything I've been doing with this podcast and my business, I can say that it has. I can say that it's definitely taken root. What's great about looking to do better than your best in an area that you're looking to grow in is that you're continuously raising the bar or expanding your own capabilities. In Chapter 6, The Law of Environment and the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, John Maxwell says, "Significant growth will not occur in your life if you are not continually challenged in your environment. Set specific goals for yourself that are beyond your current capabilities." So think about that. I'm going to read that last part again. Set specific goals for yourself that are beyond your current capabilities. You want to raise the bar. You want to do better than your best. So, for instance, I have two examples here. There's, in the example of health, maybe you run a 10-minute mile. Let's be really practical here. Maybe you run a 10-minute mile and you want to run a 9-minute mile. That 9-minute mile is now outside of your capability. It's outside your capabilities, and so now that's your goal. Then there's personal growth. Maybe you're only reading 50% of a book a month, or maybe you're not reading any book a month. Maybe you're not reading at all. And your goal is to read one book a month. That reading one book a month right now is outside of your capabilities. So remember that this is a continuous cycle. Some of these goals may seem small. However, each time you raise the bar, each time you do better than your best, you get a new goal that is outside of your new capabilities. You get a new best that you can now do better than. You're going to be surprised at how far you can go just by using this mindset. This podcast is all about giving you the tools needed to successfully discover and pursue your calling. And just using this method is going to get you leaps and bounds above where you are right now. Being able to do better than your best in an area that you're looking to improve in, that you're motivated to improve in, and every time you do these incremental, let's say, improvements, incremental upgrades to your capabilities, you're going to get more motivated. I think one thing that I'm thinking of now before I dive deeper into my notes is that these goals, they might seem small. This actually is my notes. They might seem small, but there's a reason for that. I said it's continuous. So let's go. It's it's a continuous. Like you're not going to set. Instead of reading, you're at 0 books a month. Maybe your goal could be to read 5 books a month. But then there's all these other um, little goals inside of that. There's these sub goals. Okay, now before I get to 5, I have to read 1. Then the next goal that's outside my comfort zone is 2 or 1.5. Like you make these incremental steps up the ladder till you reach this what I like to call like your this big goal, your like some people call your big hairy audacious goal. It's or your BHAG, as some people call it. Also, these goals, they don't go on forever. I think like you can probably guess that you're never going to be able to run 1 mile a minute. No matter how many times you raise the bar on yourself, you're never going to be able to raise the bar so high that you become the Flash. And you can only read so many books a month before it actually starts. You actually start spending too much time reading and not enough time applying. So what do you do next? Maybe you're satisfied with where you've gotten. So what do you do now? Do you stop? No, you don't stop. You don't stop. What do? You pivot. Or you go to whatever the next logical step would be, the next logical thing to do to help you get from where you are to where you want to be. Yeah, maybe reading 1 book a month is good for you in one area or subject, and you're happy with that. And you said, okay, maybe your goal is to read 5 books a month. But what's the next subject to learn about so that you get, what's the next subject to learn? Or maybe you're good with 1 book a month. You're satisfied with 1 book a month. And now it's time to apply what you've learned to your life and making goals around that outside. I'm going to guarantee you that if you haven't applied what you've learned, applying is outside your comfort zone. I am a testament to that. I love learning. Applying is hard. I realized recently that the goal of me starting my business is not for me to leave my job, but it's to have the option to do so. So what is the next logical thing for me to do once I've gotten, what I say my goal is to get 6 paid coaching clients. I have 3 clients right now. What would it take? What outside of my comfort zone is 6 paid coaching clients. What's the next logical step for me? Maybe it's to start. Maybe it's to start a merch store. Maybe that would help me get closer to my goal of. Maybe that would help me get closer potentially to my goal of having the option to leave my job. Or maybe it could be to start masterminds that lead me into more one-on-one coaching clients. Remember, and don't forget, I said masterminds. Remember about the mastermind that's dropping on April 27th. Don't forget about that one. That's my birthday. It's my gift from me to you. I'm saying I'm going to give this mastermind. I want to gift a mastermind, a 4-week mastermind on the 15 valuable laws of growth. So if you're interested, let me know. I'm going to, I'll even drop a Google form into the notes, into the show notes, so you can show your interest and tell me what you want to learn, what you would expect to get out of it. This podcast is about pursuing your calling and formulating the goals and habits in order to do that. So right now, I'm going to give you a little bit of an application. Write down 1 thing you're going to do this week to raise the bar, to do better than your best in order to pursue your calling well. All right, guys. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Pursuit of Calling podcast. If you enjoyed it, share it out everywhere. I'm going to stop saying all the social medias. Share it out everywhere. Share it to your friends, your mom, your dog, your dad. Don't forget to give this podcast a 5-star review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and wherever you listen to your podcasts. And guys, I'll see you next time.